is Marcus Aurelius.
Marcus Aurelius? The Stoic?
Yeah.
You're gonna read the meditations book?
Yeah.
Again?
Again, I'm just going to read a brief excerpt. Jesus.
Oh, okay.
Take it easy. What are you doing over here?
I'm just giving you shit.
Jesus.
Enjoy your movie.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's okay. Sorry about
Okay. Soon, very soon, thou wilt be ashes or a skeleton, and either a name or not even a name. But name is sound and echo, and the things which are much valued in life are empty and rotten and trifling and like little dogs biting one another, and little children quarreling, laughing, and then straightway weeping. But fidelity and modesty and justice and truth are fled. Up to Olympus from the widespread earth. What then is there which still detains thee here? If the objects of sense are easily changed and never stand still, and the organs of perception are dull and easily receive false impressions, and the poor soul itself is an exhalation from blood, but to have good repute amid such a world as this is an empty thing. Why then dost thou not wait in tranquillity for thy end, whether it is extinction or removal to another state? And until that time comes, what is sufficient? Why, what else then to venerate the gods and bless them, and to do good to men, and to practice tolerance and self-restraint? But as to everything which is beyond the limits of the poor flesh and breath, to remember that this is neither thine nor in thy power. Thou canst pass thy life in an equable flow of happiness, if thou canst go by the right way, and think and act in the right way. These two things are common both to the soul of God and to the soul of man, and to the soul of every rational being, not to be hindered by another, and to hold good to consist in the disposition to justice and the practice of it, and in this to let thy desire find its termination. If this is neither my own badness nor an effect of my own badness, and the common weal is not injured, why am I troubled about it? And what is the harm to the common weal? Do not be carried along inconsiderately by the appearance of things, but give help to all according to thy ability and their fitness. And if they should have sustained loss in matters which are indifferent, do not imagine this to be a damage, for it is a bad habit. But as the old man, when he went his way, asked back his foster child's top, remembering that it was a top, so do thou in this case also, when thou art calling out on the rostra. Hast thou forgotten, man, what these things are? Yes. They are objects of great concern to these people. Wilt thou too then be made a fool for these things? I was once a fortunate man, but I lost it. I know not how, but fortunate means that a man has assigned to himself a good fortune, and a good fortune is good disposition of the soul, good emotions, good actions. So good thought, good emotions, good actions. That's the whole thing boiled down in just 4 words. Good, actions and thoughts, thoughts and actions, good and actions, good and thoughts. That's it. That's the whole thing. Ha ha, we figured it out. Whoopee! That's it. That's it. Congratulations, everybody. 65 million years of human evolution, and we made it back to the beginning.
Have you touched the finger of God yet?
Have I touched the finger of God?
No, have you touched the finger of God yet, Anderson?
Yeah, I thought about that painting, that famous, what is it, Michelangelo?
It's in my PTR right now, but the little known fact is that there's under God's arm a red-headed woman who looks like me. Do you see her there? And then next to that is some sort of child. Wonder what that means.
I don't know. I mean, see, the thing is that photo, that painting is a perpendicular or a, it's really, it's funny, I heard it on Clown House today. The title of the room was, are we God or are we made in the image of God? So it's basically a symmetry or a, what is it when an image can fold over on itself? Not perpendicular. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. No, what's it called when an image can fold in half and it's a perfect mirror
Oh,
image?
it's symmetrical?
Yeah, it's symmetrical.
Symmetry?
Yeah, the supersymmetry of that image. It's basically Eastern psychology represented through, medieval Western psychology and philosophy. Like that image is a very, very potent symbol, very powerful symbol, that divine spark. Because it's kind of like Rabboinoi Shaloiloim saying that, master of the universe, you can get into states of mind, I believe, through hypnosis and intoxicants, to where that image you can use your mind's eye. Basically, that's the whole thing. Is it's like 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, 5-dimensional. You can try to be anybody in that image through a perspective. It's so.
Have you ever been to the 13th dimension?
Yeah, it's some nightclub in San Francisco or something.
No, the real 13th dimension.
No, that's just a conceptual. That's just a sound. I don't even know what that means. That's the whole point of Zen is you can present whatever you want in terms of hypnosis, but I'm looking at the situation, outside of my window, in front of me. Like this is the ultimate. This is the new, the now. This is the whole thing about Zen is it operates in silence. That whatever you have to tell me is not the truth. That's the whole Native American saying. If it can be said, it is not true. Like somebody just pinged me, at work, and they're like, "Can I talk to you?" I said, "No, just write it. Just put it in the chat." And I walked away because I was
So
like,
no matter what anybody says, there will be a count.
"What?"
So then, would you not have any proof then? If you yourself are always being countered, how do you know that you're, especially if you're being countered all the time?
So this is basically like the Star Wars master and apprentice type of thing, where it takes two.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the twin.
Yeah.
That's the twin flame. Understanding and knowledge. That's part of the secret. The things which are much valued in life are empty and rotten and trifling and like little dogs biting one another and little children quarreling, laughing, and then straightway weeping. But fidelity and modesty and justice and truth are fled. Up to Olympus from the widespread earth. What then is there which still detains thee here? If the objects of sense are easily changed and never stand still, and the organs of perception are dull and easily receive false impressions, and the poor soul itself is an exhalation from blood. But to have good repute amid such a world as this is an empty thing. Why then dost thou not wait in tranquillity for thy end? Whether it is extinction or removal to till that time comes, what is sufficient? else than to venerate the gods and bless them, and to do good to men, and to practice tolerance and self-restraint. But as to everything which is beyond the limits of the poor flesh and breath, to remember that this is neither thine nor in thy power. Thou canst pass thy life in an equable flow of happiness, if thou canst go by the right way, and think and act in the right way. These two things are common both to the soul of God and to the soul of man, and to the soul of every rational being, not to be hindered by another, and to hold good to consist in the disposition to justice and the practice of it. And in this to let thy desire find its termination. If this is neither my own badness nor an effect of my own badness, and the common weal is not injured, why am I troubled about it? And what is the harm to the common weal? Do not be carried along inconsiderately by the appearance of things, but give help to all according to thy ability and their fitness. If they should have sustained loss in matters which are indifferent, do not imagine this to be a damage, for it is a bad habit. But as the old man, when he went his way, asked back his foster child's top, remembering that it was a top, so do thou in this case also, when thou art calling out on the rostra. Hast thou forgotten, man, what these things are? Yes. They are objects of great concern to these people. Wilt thou too then be made a fool for these things? I was once a fortunate man, but I lost it. I know not how, but fortunate means that a man has assigned to himself a good fortune, and a good fortune is good disposition of the soul, good emotions, good actions. So good thought, good emotions, good actions. That's the whole thing boiled down in just 4 words. Good actions and thoughts. Thoughts and actions. Good and actions. Good and thoughts. That's it. That's the whole thing. Ha ha! We figured it out. Whoopee! That's it.
Ridiculous.
That's it. Congratulations!
I find
65.
I find Marcus Aurelius a harder Stoic read than I like Seneca. You got your Seneca book?
I do. It's in the other room. I have what I'd like to read. So this is Chris. That was incredible, first of all. Thank you for doing that. Like that's beyond incredible. And I just
of course. You know, like I have like a digital audio workstation and everything, so
Oh, nice.
Bro, you're a digital producer, man. You honestly you can probably make a nice little, not a lot of money, but I think you can make money doing this. That is incredible what you just did. I mean,
thanks, Zen.
what I'm saying is I would pay you to do what you just did for me. Like, and I'm willing to like do the live readings, but the mixing, and then the live streaming of it,
With like the music in the background,
yeah,
as well.
yep.
Yeah.
So
Like I can like slow it down. I could like add some like audio effects, like voice of God, and then like transform it. So
yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so I want to read if you could do this one more time, I'm gonna just read like for a couple more minutes, and I'm gonna read the Dhammapada. And if you could mix in some kind of like Buddha flute or some kind of like Tibetan bells and things like that, that would be fucking fire.
Go with the flutes again.
Man, and when that fucking Zen bell went off on that recording you made, I was like, Jesus Christ! Because I've never heard it come out of the phone. I've only been, blasting it into people's ears.
Hey, what's going on, Jason? Welcome to Zen Tao. Zen, Zen, Zen. Tao, Tao, Tao. Tao, Tao, Tao. Zen, Zen, Zen.
Okay, I'm gonna read to you the wisdom of the Buddha. And Chris, if you could record it and then play it back to us, that would be incredible. I'm gonna first read you chapter 15, happiness. Let me know when you want me to when I can start, or if I should just go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Chapter 15 of the Dhammapada, happiness. We live happily indeed, not hating those who hate us. Among men who hate us, we dwell free from hatred. We live happily indeed, free from ailments among the ailing. Among men who are ailing, let us dwell free from ailments. We live happily indeed, free from greed among the greedy. Among men who are greedy, let us dwell free from greed. We live happily indeed, though we call nothing our own. We shall be like the bright gods, feeding on happiness. Victory breeds hatred, for the conquered is unhappy. He who has given up both victory and defeat, he, the contented, is happy. There is no fire like passion. There is no losing throe like hatred. There is no pain like this body. There is no happiness higher than rest. Hunger is the worst of diseases. The elements of the body, the greatest evil. If one knows this truly, that is nirvana, the highest happiness. Health is the greatest of gifts. Contentness the best riches. Trust is the best of relationships. Nirvana, the highest happiness. He who has tasted the sweetness of solitude and tranquility is free from fear and free from sin, while he tastes the sweetness of drinking in the law. The sight of the elect, Ariya, is good. To live with them is always happiness. If a man does not see fools, he will be truly happy. He who walks in the company of fools suffers a long way. Company with fools as with an enemy is always painful. Company with the wise is pleasure, like meeting with kinsfolk. Therefore, one ought to follow the wise, the intelligent, the learned, the much enduring, the dutiful, the elect. One ought to follow such a good and wise man as the moon follows the path of the stars. Pleasure. He who gives himself to vanity and does not give himself to meditation, forgetting the real aim of life and grasping at pleasure, will in time envy him who has exerted himself in meditation. Let no man ever cling to what is pleasant, or to what is unpleasant. Not to see what is pleasant is pain, and it is pain to see what is unpleasant. Let therefore no man love anything. Loss of the beloved is evil. Those who love nothing and hate nothing have no fetters. From pleasure comes grief, from pleasure comes fear. He who is free from pleasure knows neither grief nor fear. From affection comes grief, from affection comes fear. He who is free from affection knows neither grief nor fear. From lust comes grief, from lust comes fear. He who is free from lust knows neither grief nor fear. From love comes grief, from love comes fear. He who is free from love knows neither grief nor fear. From greed comes grief, from greed comes fear. He who is free from greed knows neither grief nor fear. He who possesses virtue and intelligence, who is just, speaks the truth, and does what is his own business, him the world will hold dear. He in whom a desire for the ineffable nirvana has sprung up, who in his mind is satisfied and whose thoughts are not bewildered by love, he is called Urdhvam Srotas, carried upwards by the stream. Kinsmen, friends, and lovers, salute a man who has been long away and returns safe from afar. In like manner his good works receive him who has done good and has gone from this world to the other, as kinsmen receive a friend on his return. This is called anger. Let a man leave anger, let him forsake pride, let him overcome all bondage. No sufferings before the man who is not attached to name and form and who calls nothing his own. He who holds back rising anger like a rolling chariot, him I call a real driver. Other people are but holding the reins. Let a man overcome anger by love, let him overcome evil by good. Let him overcome the greedy by liberality, the liar by truth. Speak the truth, do not yield to anger, give. If thou art asked for little, by these 3 steps thou wilt go near the gods. The sages who injure nobody and who always control their body, they will go to the unchangeable place, Nirvana, where if they have gone they will suffer no more. Those who are ever watchful, who study day and night, and who strive after Nirvana, the passions will come to an end. This is an old saying, O Atula. This is not as if of today. They blame him who sits silent. They blame him who speaks much. They also blame him who says little. There is no one on earth who is not blamed. There never was, there never will be. Nor is there now a man who is always blamed or a man who is always praised. But he whom those who discriminate praise continually day after day is without blemish wise, rich in knowledge and virtue, who would dare to blame him like a coin made of gold from the Gambu river. Ever the gods praise him. He is praised even by Brahman. Beware of bodily anger, and control thy body. Leave the sins of the body, and with thy body practice virtue. Beware of the anger of the tongue, and control thy tongue. Leave the sins of the tongue, and practice virtue with thy tongue. Beware of the anger of the mind, and control thy mind. Leave the sins of the mind, and practice virtue with the mind. The wise who control their body, who control their tongue, the wise who control their mind are indeed well controlled.
Beautifully read. You went to a school for performing arts, didn't you?
In the 7th grade, I auditioned for FDR in the 8th grade school play, and I got the role of Franklin Delano Roosevelt because I don't know what it is, but like I've seen so many movies that when I read the script, like, it's terrifying as a kid to like pretend. And first of all, you gotta pitch your voice. You have to be able to speak loudly if you want to actually make it on the stage. So I don't know, but that was my first experience doing public speaking. Was imitating Franklin Delano Roosevelt in the stage Broadway of Annie. And I was just a young kid. They spray painted my hair silver. I put on glasses and a suit, and I was in a wheelchair. And then I had a bunch of lines, and then my one song was Tomorrow. So I sang that song, and I think I did it for 3 nights. Broadway's fun, If you can become a theater actor, like, God, that's a crazy fucking, crazy dream. It's a lot of fun to hypnotize, thousands of people.
I've never been to a Broadway show.
No, it's very cool. It's like real, you
I've been
know?
abroad. I went abroad, and I never expected to leave my state. You know.
I think that's the coolest thing about history is all the like the historical. If you, I'm sure there's a book of like the most famous uh, theatrical plays and musicals of all time. You know, going back hundreds upon hundreds of years. I'm sure there's like a history book on that. That'd be an interesting eBay search. I'm gonna look for that.
Yeah, my imagination is far more